And we live, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. This is James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel, where I'm here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen this video, but that's all right. We'll live to see another day. Joining me as always, my co-host, my special guest, Mrs. Best. Please subscribe to her channel. Any recaps that we do not do on her channel, or we don't do on my channel, we will definitely do on hers. Mrs. Best, how you doing today?
Oh, thank you for the little promo. I'm so shy. Thank you. Thank you. I'm good. Like the video, share it, all of those good things. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend's cousin.
Right, and tell their auntie and uncle too. But anywho, y'all, this is Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 2, Episode 2, the Book of Revelations. I like the way that sounds. Revelations. Shout out to Tyler Perry. But, whew, y'all. Carlos, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what this is. But come on, you got to do better than this. This episode was so crazy and just so ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. I, I'm trying, y'all. I said I was going to give this show a fair chance again. But I feel like I'm about to drop out again. I do, just because is this it? Something else got to happen. Something else got to be better than this. Something else. I got to see something else. So the episode begins on a cliffhanger because y'all know how Love and Marriage loves to do us on a cliffhanger. So we are back at Bravo and Lakita's season 78 or whatever the name of their restaurant is called at this luncheon, and we are met with Kim and Marcel, who are the new couple on the block, sitting down at the table right across from Christina. Kim and Christina have, you know, underlying issues with each other that have not been resolved, and they have not spoken in 6 years. So when they sit across from each other, they start off by making faces at each other, smiling, gesturing, and it was so immature and so silly. But for reality TV purposes, we're gonna keep it there. And the whole table is picking up on the tension between the two. So Bravo starts it off like, well, do we all know each other? And Kim was like, yeah, I know Christina. I've known her for 11 years, and we've been, we were friends. We're not friends anymore. And Christina just struck her face. I'm like, oh, okay, we doing this. And so Brandon was like, okay, well, what happened between you two? Like, what's the story? So Kim says, well, the story is we were at her birthday party, and, we were sitting across from her friends, and one of her friends asked me, is that an Android that you have? And I said, yeah, it's an Android. And then she asked Marcel, do you have an Android? And he said, yeah. And she goes, oh, that's why you two are a good fit, because y'all both like mediocre things. And Anthony, with his messy queen self, can go, oh, wow. And I said, that's it. So you mean to tell me that the start of y'all beef, because remember, y'all, she said this was the start. So we don't know what happened in the middle and the end. We just left off on this start. That the beef was someone made fun of you because you had an Android phone and said that it was mediocre. So you have a beef with Christina because this the start of the beef between you and Christina. Someone said you had an Android phone. Okay. Okay. Mrs. Best, what is your opinion on the start of Kim and Christina's beef over someone making fun of her having an Android phone? How do you feel about that?
It's stupid to me, but I knew I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Kim gave me like she was full of it and gonna come at us with BS. Just because in the first episode when we met her, she said she wasn't going to talk about Christina and don't speak of her. But now she can't seem to stop speaking about her. She claimed that they haven't spoken in 6 years. And then she's like, I've known you 11 years. No, you have not spoken in 6 years. So the other years don't count. She's doing weird stuff like that. That bothered me. Then in addition to that, I'm just kind of like, if I haven't spoken to someone in 6 years, we don't have a beef no more. That is the result of the beef. We're not speaking anymore. So she's still trying to paint it as if she has this beef. And I just don't like Kim. I don't see it for Kim. I just don't. It's so stupid. And then to top it off, You mean to tell me originally you was mad because someone had something to say about the phones? Girl, you have a husband and children who are small, and you have time to be mad about that? She's not busy enough.
I'm just like Kim. Out of all the things you could have pulled out your head of beef that you have with this woman, you gonna say that was what started it? Somebody else, not even Christina saying it. One of her friends saying it, and I guess her argument throughout this thing was that one of her, like, if the shoe was on the other foot, she wouldn't have allowed someone to make fun of Christina in that way. But I'm like, Christina can't control what some grown ass person does or says to you. Talk about the person back. Because to me, it seemed like she was trying to say that Christina was trying to turn a blind eye when that friend made that comment. And it was kind of like, regardless if she turned the blind eye or if she was right there in face, that is two people grown going at each other over her making fun of you about you having an Android. I, I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't trip.
I
I have
just feel like
one.
that's childish. Here's the thing. Android phones have notoriously, they were the first smartphones, but they've also notoriously been known to have a delay, a lag, not work as well as Apple products. But we've been come past that in today's time. Like technology's advanced so far. So I don't see the point. I have an iPhone. My husband has an Android. I'm constantly making little digs and jokes at him whenever his phone don't do something right. Like that's what you get for having an Android. And then when my phone acts up, he says the same thing. You goddamn Apple user. Like these are like light jokes that I feel like a lot of people in today's society make as a whole. But I really don't think nobody's out here like really checking for somebody's phone. Like not
I,
at the
I
age
just think it was a poor joke at her expense. It wasn't that serious. So for this to start your beef, it
ridiculous.
really is ridiculous. Like at this point, it was like I was expecting her to say, "You said something about my mama. You talked about my children. You said something." Like
Right.
I was ready for something low, but
But
it was
no,
this. Like you
it's
know,
looking like she's using an old relationship because they
yep,
haven't spoken in 6 years. So there is no reconciliation. They just have not spoken. There's no relationship. It's looking like she's trying to use an old relationship to be relevant on this show. And
I
that's
agree.
what's annoying.
Absolutely, I agree. So they went back and forth over this ridiculousness. Russell eventually walks in and sits next to Colby and was like, "What's going on?" And no one's really speaking. They're just still going back and forth, back and forth. And at some point, Christina said, they were invited here by Latoya, Dr. Minnie Mouse, aka, because that's what I call her on my channel, Dr. Minnie Mouse. And Dr. Minnie Mouse said, "No, I didn't know she had a beef with you like that. Like, I didn't know what it was about." And I said, "Dr. Minnie Mouse, really? The lady told you when y'all was at dinner at your house that she ain't seen it for Christina because she's done some shady things. She just named, which was ridiculous, the shady thing that Christina allegedly did. Because I really don't believe Christina really at her birthday party had an inkling that that was going on. I think she was asking, like, was there anything else? I'm not gonna say Christina wasn't wrong in the situation because she probably was. But what I'm saying is that I don't believe that Christina thought that that was really the big deal. I think she probably thought there was more to it, and maybe that's why she was asking around, like, what else could have
Why
happened?
are
Because
we talking about what happened 6 years ago?
right,
I
and
personally don't give a damn what these women had a beef about 6 years ago. And I'm sick of Kim and she's on thin ice with me. Because why is this the only thing that you have to give and the only thing that you have to show? I
I'm like,
don't care.
yeah, Kim, don't you bring this shit up no more. Don't you bring this up no more. Now that you done said what it was, I don't want to hear nothing else now because this was your opportunity. If you was really gonna spray Christina, this was your opportunity to really like just go in and let have. And you just disappointed me because I couldn't have heard a more stupid excuse to beef with somebody than this. So moving on from there, because I can't talk too much more about this dinner. The next thing we talk about is Brandon goes and visits Russell at his gym and they began talking about last night's dinner. And Russell said, "What happened?" Because I walked in right in the middle of it. And Brandon tells him, Kim, he knows Kim and they were friends at one point, and he doesn't know how this happened. And it looked like it was something that the Robinsons, which is Anthony and Dr. Minnie Mouse, is something that they had put together. And he was all like, I'm gonna have a conversation with Anthony. And Russell asked him, are you guys still not good? And he goes, no, we not good. We not in a good place. And but we'll definitely talk and see each other. And then he mentions about him and Christina. And he mentions to Russell that they are separated. He's not at the house, and that he's thinking about filing for divorce. And Christina may be on board with that. And Russell immediately breaks into like an emotional just hammock. It was just like he walked off and was putting his head down. And I'm like, is he really crying over this couple? And then when he said that marriage is the conviction of, I was like, oh, okay, so you making this about the religion. Okay, I see. Because I was confused. I'm like, why are you crying over? Okay, I don't know. My friends ain't never cried over no shit like that. And I never cried over my friends talking about they got no divorce. So
Like, right. I It felt like it was for the camera.
or he really feels strongly about marriage in the sense
If he
of,
felt strongly about marriage, we see him less time at the gym and less time spending time with other people and more time trying to figure out how to get his wife interested again.
I'm trying to tell you, we're gonna get to that in a minute. This is the Einstein that I don't like about this show. One, it is boring though, and two, I don't like the Christian aspect. I, I'm with you, this they went in. I'm with you because to me, I really feel like they're trying to use this religion to kind of soften the bullshit that we do see. Like they're trying to excuse it in some capacity. And I'm not liking it. It's not just Russell, it was Anthony too. So I'm just like, I don't know about this. I don't know. And yeah, we all think it's for the cameras. I definitely agree it's for the cameras because, like, why are you crying? Like, what? Y'all not even cool like that. So I don't understand what you would be so emotional over. And yeah, yeah, it was boring. I wasn't gonna say it, but Mrs. Best has spoken in the chat, y'all. Shout out to Mrs. Best. Make sure you subscribe to her channel because she said it, not me. But I agree. The next thing we see from this scene is that we see Christina meet up with her friend Chelsea. I forgot her last name, just like that, because there's two different Chelseas that we meet in this
It
episode.
don't even matter.
Well, when I first watched it, I thought that this same Chelsea was at the end with Kobe. That's why I was like, okay, so this Chelsea is gonna be a friend of the show. I see. But then when I realized when I watched it the second time, and I really looked at Chelsea, I was like, oh no, these two different Chelseas. Okay, well, they look alike. Carlos, like you need to do better with this because one was in the confessional, one was them two Chelseas looked exactly alike. I thought that was the same person. So yeah, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Christina wants to get back into music. She feels like now that she's going through the separation, she wants to get back to her. And this is one thing I want to talk about. Ladies, never abandon your gifts or your blessings or something that you can be good in over marriage. You should never have to choose. If the person loves you and supports you, they will find a way to make sure you have your dreams and ambitions. That's something I had to learn even in my last relationship. Even though that person didn't discourage me from not trying to achieve my dream, he also wasn't helping me pave a way if he knew that this meant so much to me. So I think that for me, watching this scene, you could tell that he just really wanted her just to be available to his time frame, and that's kind of messed up if she really does have a talent. Now when she was singing, it didn't sound bad. It didn't sound bad. I can see it. I can see the image of her being the singer that she said and that she is. I could definitely see her, hey Shayna, I can definitely see her doing like the Christian gospel kind of music. Hi Naya, thank you for joining me, love. But when she was talking to Chelsea, she was telling Chelsea about, that Kim was at dinner and, she was really going crazy and stuff. And Chelsea knows Kim as well. She's known her for a long time. And Chelsea was kind of gearing towards Christina's side with it. And then after hearing, that it was over an Android phone, I can understand where Chelsea was like, yeah, she kind of do the most. She be over exaggerating, being loud at dinner. And I could see this in Kim because that was nothing to bring up. That was kind of like the last thing you should have brought up. That should have been the cherry on top. Like I needed something a little bit more concrete. I'm gonna still go back to this dinner because that shit pissed me off. I need something more concrete than you get mad because someone told you were mediocre for having an Android phone. I need something else. So they were in the confessional, they were laughing, and I was enjoying Chelsea and Christina. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about that?
My bad. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was tearing up a donut. Um, I like their little friendship, but I always worry when I see new friendships come on shows because I'm like hoping that they don't fall apart, which they usually do. But I was with Chelsea. This girl, I think something she said that really did matter. This girl is dramatic, and dramatic in a way where she's just messy and stretching the entire truth. So
Yep. And I agree with that. And that's all that we're seeing. Unless Kim shows me something different, y'all, I see it exactly the way Chelsea said it. She was being over dramatic because that was over the top. That's nothing to bring up. Like, that was, to me, that was stupid. Like, to me, that just completely demolished any type of politeness that I would have for her, unless she turns me. She can turn me around now, y'all. People have done it before. People have done it before, but I don't really see, unless she brings out something else, I don't see me liking Kim. So that happened, and then the next thing we see is Brandon meets with Anthony. Anthony's having this man movement, whatever this is called. Because remember, y'all, season one, I dropped out right when this was happening. So I didn't really get the full gist of what he was trying to do. I know he had Marcel from last Love and Marriage Huntsville on the show as well to help promote this, but I still have no idea what this really is. He also has Marcel there, and they're talking about going to a specific high school and talking with the kids and telling them to develop a skill to pay the bill. That's what they said. I like the concept and I like the idea, but I will hope that in this movement or speech that you're trying to give these kids, that you give them the secret to entrepreneurship versus telling them to go get a skill and just go get a job and pay some bills. I'm hoping that you're telling them to elevate the mindset. Now, whether if that's just to build them back up to get the career, then fine. But I felt like I wasn't hearing the message that I would want someone to tell me if I was in high school. When me and Mrs. Best went to the same high school. Nobody came to that high school to tell us the secret of entrepreneurship. So we didn't have realtors tell us, hey, sell real estate. We didn't have lawyers to say, hey, become lawyers. We didn't have any of that.
we had army recruiters.
Right, ready to roll my asses right up in there. I'm telling you, they was there like clockwork. Especially my year. I don't know what happened after my year, but they were there like clockwork. Like I knew the dude's name. I forgot his name now, but I knew his name by heart. Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that this speech and this whatever they do, I hope we see it, and I hope it really does element better than how Marcel translated it because I wasn't buying it. So
I don't buy the man movement. Here's the thing. How can you teach others to be men when you yourself are not a whole man? And I'm not even trying to say that to be rude. We done seen this man cry. He lied to his wife. He ran away from his family. When the going gets tough, he's going to think about himself. Like, what does he have to teach other men when he himself is still figuring out his own life and his own circumstance and who he is? There's a whole episode, I'm sorry, he behaved like a female. Men don't do what Anthony do. The let's unpack this, which James is probably about to go over next. Like
I am. I'm about to. Yeah, I just.
most men don't get as sensitive and draw shit on as long as Anthony do. Like he's not in the place to be telling nobody nothing. And I don't want to see the husband of Kim on here trying to be a motivational speaker. Sir, what the hell are you doing at the bank in mortgage? I want to see you there. I don't want to see you giving a speech to a bunch of teenagers. Where is your actual job that you clock in and you clock out and you get a pay stub for? Where is it at? I thought you was in mortgage. You could barely put a sentence together and you gonna tell some kids about something. Where is your job?
Yes, and I wanted to address up and say in a comment. Absolutely, like I want to make sure I put this out there. You can absolutely function with a skill and become an entrepreneur. We see it every day. But my whole thing of how he said it, it made it seem like a skill to pay the bill means that yeah, go out there, get you a skill, work you a job to make sure you can pay your bills, which is nothing wrong with it. But that's teaching kids to only be in survivor mode based on how he said it. Now, when he gets to the actual motivational speech and when we hear it, if it does, if the show picked it up, I may feel differently. But based on how he said it there, it just seemed like, yeah, get you a skill so you know how to survive in these streets. And whether that's a good message, rather than being out there in the streets doing other things and maybe having a skill to pay the bills, maybe that's where I'm looking at it. I think that, if that's what we're trying to say, then fine. I'm totally here for it as well. But I want us, if we're really speaking to Black men, I want us to have more elevated conversations. They can absolutely have a skill. Everybody has a craft and skill. I'm an author. I get it. That is a skill. That is something that you develop, and that's something that you can actually make it to where you are influencing a whole community. Absolutely. I 100% support that. But something about that comment, it just wasn't heading in that same direction. So I'm hoping he proves me wrong, and I'm hoping that he can say that. Yeah, when we get to that point. Yeah. So moving on. So Brandon walks into the event, and I was just like, and it just got awkward from there. And when him and Anthony were sitting down, they were talking, and they said, basically where they, when the rubber met the road for them is when they had that retreat, and he brought, I forgot the dude's name, but it was because I didn't watch, y'all. I told you I checked out this season. I did not watch this whole season, but apparently it was a nemesis of Brandon that Anthony did invite to there. He didn't let Brandon know ahead of time that this marathon was coming. Brandon found it out by somebody else and took it to Anthony, and he goes, "Yeah, I should have told you, but he is coming." And Anthony was kind of standing on, well, you knew and all this, and I'm just like, here go Anthony, y'all. Anthony is too much. I can't deal with Anthony.
He's
I can't.
always he's always a victim. He's never in the wrong, and he whines.
He whines, and it's always with someone pokes him and someone does this. You were wrong to come to my event and do this. You were wrong for coming to my event and starting with this person. And I said, Anthony, you were wrong for inviting the person, knowing that Brandon had the issue with him. Like, it's a tit for tat. Just say you were wrong for how you moved, and Brandon was wrong for how he reacted, because regardless of what that person did, if this is someone that Anthony does business with and really does not have any issue with, then you shouldn't have an issue being in the same space. Like, we are men at the end of the day. We should be able to coexist and say, okay, cool, I don't mess with you. You don't mess with me. Stay in your corner. I'll stay in mine.
Especially because what Brandon was supposedly mad about with this person, he stated that I did watch the season, even though James didn't recap it. And he was upset at this person because they were allegedly stealing business from him. But Brandon has that Star Factory or whatever. So he's into the music industry. He's managing artists, doing things of that nature. So it's like, that's not really stealing business. And even so, in the music industry, people bounce from label to label, image consultant to image consultant, manager to manager. So, in my opinion, it's not something that deep to be bothered about. But then at the same time, Brandon is just not accountable whatsoever. I feel like his wife is too soft spoken, and so he often thinks that he's doing big things by getting back at people or talking to them about stuff and putting them in their place. I feel like he does what Dr. Minnie Mouse won't,
I
because she
actually
don't
feel
say
like
a damn
I feel
thing.
the opposite. I feel like he runs completely over her, and I feel like, and we saw that season one. So no, I actually disagree with that. I feel like he runs completely over her. It makes me think that Anthony and Brandon may have been in a Brokeback Mountain situation, allegedly. But I can see it. I'm sorry, I can see it very clearly. I can see it absolutely. I can see these women being beards. I can see them going camping every June, and yes, and that's
They're
I can.
too emotional for men for
Right,
me.
like, I
It's
have
weird.
never yeah, I'm intimate. I have never had one of these conversations with my guy friends like this. None of them have ever brought a situation like this to me. We ain't never been emotional. We like, hey, do you, do me, especially when we have other people. Like, we not really, nothing's ever that deep. Like, to me, they was even like they was about to break up. Like, it was just like, what are we doing? And so after they get past this whole conversation, Brandon, then tells him, Anthony, about him and Christina being separated. And he was asking him if that whole situation with Kim, did they intentionally bring her in there to start with Christina? And he said, no, we didn't intentionally bring her in there. That was my wife's doing. And I don't really think it was cool for Kim to bring that situation up to Christina. I actually was proud of Christina for how she handled herself. And I said, oh. Now, from what I remember last season, you was antagonizing Christina, which made us all feel like something more was going on between you and Brandon because of how you was constantly digging at her. So now she conducted herself well, Anthony. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, some tells me these people done got to you because I wasn't the only person reviewing the show that said that. It was something weird where you was constantly going at that lady about her husband. So it was really weird. I don't know. I was peeping that. I was like, something ain't right. But Brandon asked Anthony to not say anything to Dr. Minnie Mouse or anyone else about him and Christina's separation. And Anthony said, he's been through the exact same thing with Dr. Minnie Mouse when he went to Atlanta. And they went through a little separation where divorce was a topic of conversation. I said, I bet it was. And she a fool for not going through with it because ain't no way in the hell you finna leave me for some months going to Atlanta of all places to go chase some dream that didn't even happen out there. So I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Dr. Minnie Mouse a fool. But speaking of Dr. Minnie Mouse, she walked in late, coming home from work. She had an attitude as soon as she walked into the door. She didn't even put her shoes in the corner. She just kicked them shoes and left them right at the door and walked upstairs and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she said, "I'm tired. I got to do all this at work. Then I got to come home." She said, What the kids eat?" And he said, "I got dinner." She said, "You made something?" He goes, "No, I bought a meal." She goes, "See, exactly. I want my kids eating healthy food." And I'm just looking at her like,
Did anyone notice that the house and bedroom was dressed and decorated as plain as her personality? That's all I was
no,
thinking.
because between her and this like very passive aggressive attitude, it's hard for me to notice anything else because I don't want to miss anything when it comes to her. But she just is so I can't y'all, I can't
She's
do
not
her.
likable, like,
Yeah,
without, like, roasting her. What is her actual name?
Latoya.
Oh, okay, I just know her as Dr. Minnie Mouse. I'm going, "The hell?" But she, in my opinion, she's just not likable in a sense for reality TV. I'm not gonna say that she's not likable as a person. I respect the things that she's done with her business, as it pertains to her wine. I also respect what she's done academically and professionally in being a doctor, but I don't think that she's meant for reality TV. I
No,
just don't. I really
n-
don't. It felt
not at
like,
all.
why are you coming in the house complaining about all of this? Yes, you can buy a healthy dinner, by the way. You just got to know where
Yeah, you
you're.
can do meal prepper and like they have there's a very successful meal prep restaurant in Detroit that's very popular. So I don't understand. She just wants something to complain about. And to me, I feel like that's what she did all season one. That's why I didn't like her. Because it was like, okay,
But that's why I say maybe it's because she's just not likable for reality TV. Because I have to think, if I had to live with a man like Anthony, I'd have a fucking attitude all the time myself. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That nigga would irritate the hell out of me. Excuse my French. I know myself. I'd be throwing my stiletto at him. Don't nobody want to hear him whine and cry and bitch and moan and gossip. It's like being married to your best friend. I don't want to be married to my best friend. Hell. He I can't, that's the part of it. Like, that's what made me look at that differently with her because I was like, oh, she got to come home to him. Why
no,
was he home? Where's his job?
where is his? That's what I was just going to ask. Where? Okay, so where is the pipe dream in Atlanta, and where is the working with Marvel, and where is that at, Anthony? Please explain to me where that is, so that way I can get off your back about it. Because I'm sorry, like I need to see something from you because we seen you at home on the computer. Lord knows what you was doing,
Right.
and then you gonna sit this conversation with Dr. Minnie Mouse talking about, oh, well, you know what? Have you talked to Christina? And she said, no, I don't have a desire to talk to Christina. He goes, oh, okay. Well, do you mind if I reach out to her? She goes, why? And he goes, well, her and Brandon are going through some things. And she was like, look, I don't mind you reaching out and talking with her, but be careful because they tend to let our insert be, a rule of reason of why something is, wrong with us. And to some extent, no, I don't agree with that because I remember first season, I was just gonna say I agree with her, but now that I'm thinking about how he used to antagonize Christina season one, no, I don't agree with that at all. If anything happened where y'all inserted yourself and Christina retaliated, it's because your husband sat up there and antagonized her about Brandon the entire time. He would laugh in her face. He said he gonna do this, and you gotta check in with her. He was really antagonizing her. So no, never mind. I forgot about that. No, I don't see Dr. Minnie Mouse's point. I don't. I feel like it would be his just due to meet up with her to then apologize for giving her the hard time that he gave her season one. I think that she deserves that. So no, I don't agree with Dr. Minnie Mouse, and and I could care less if Christina and Kim get back on equal footings and become friends again. I can care less because to me, I feel like Kim is wishy washy, and then Christina is one of those over the top, self entitled ass women that I feel like them two probably aren't meant to be friends in the first place. So no, they can miss me with this scene. So anything else you want to add with Anthony and Dr. Minnie Mouse before I move over?
Yeah, I actually feel opposite of you. Like I agree with the sentiment and how Christina and them probably are. I agree with most of what you said, but I don't know. I feel like Dr. Minnie Mouse is actually right in that situation. Like, if y'all just not cool right now, like, there's no need to talk about it to them. Don't put yourself in their business because I think Anthony does have a habit of being in other people's business, and he was overly as he was in their business clearly by how he was coming at Christina. So I agree that Christina is owed an apology, but I also agree with Dr. Minnie Mouse, like the way that he came for them last season, he needs to cool off and act like he, has a life of his own. Like, stop talking about them so much, stop worrying about them, just mind your business. Like, that's how I felt watching it. But at the same time, a bunch of things could be true at the same time. Christina also does seem to be a little bit entitled. Dr. Minnie Mouse, her husband should have never came at them so hard. So it's the whole situation's a mess.
Hmm.
I want them to
Yeah,
move on. Talk about y'all
absolutely.
marriage.
Yeah, really. What's going on here? So moving on from there, I forgot to mention a scene with Kobe and Russell, so I'm going to interlock scenes with them too. So before this scene, there was a scene with Kobe and Russell. They were talking about the dinner and everything that happened between Kim and Christina. We'll move past this because I don't want to talk about that dinner no more. But she then talks about, her having, the pelvic pain and how, she really is, you know, not doing well in this pregnancy. And she goes, I need another push gift or something to have me, going through this. And he was all like, look, this house is your push gift. That new car I just got you, that's your push gift. The cable is a push gift. And I don't know about these two, y'all. Kobe is just really not taking this pregnant. Like, to me, I'm worried for her and this baby because now when we move on to the gender reveal, we have the other Chelsea throwing the gender reveal, and she immediately walks downstairs and was like, "Oh my God, there's more pink cupcakes than there are blue," and I really want a little boy. I really want a little boy because I see how other moms are with their boys and girls naturally go to their dads. And I'm just like, no, Kobe, no, 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 don't start this. No. So Chelsea brings out the teddy bear, and I don't think she did either. I don't think she really wanted to get pregnant either. But at the same time, as we said in last recap, there are preventative ways to not be pregnant. Like, me and Mrs. Best, we had a whole 10-minute conversation. I think Shayna was in on it with us. We were saying how you better go get you a plan B. You better go get you something. If you don't want to be pregnant, you better be on birth control. You better do a whole bunch of regimens to not get pregnant. Like, ma'am, you can control that part or make him wear a condom. Hell, I don't know, but shit, do something. But this was not the move because this made me look at her in a different light. And I don't want to look at because I do like Kobe. She was the only one that I really liked out of all of them. So, but don't forget, she said he took advantage of her wish. She was vulnerable. Completely understand this. Um,
That's her husband. If
yeah,
you know
I
that you don't want to have a baby, then you need to be on some type of birth control, track your menstrual, track when you ovulate, do something so that you can prevent getting pregnant. Your husband can't trap you, in my opinion. I don't know, she's complaining. Part of me feels like it could be for the show
no,
because
I
when
don't
you
feel
look
like
at
it's for the show. I feel like she really feels like this because to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Her disposition, like, it's one thing to be like, damn, I ain't getting the boy. But, oh well, I'm happy. And she did do that slightly, but it was the emotional like ambiance of her
There's
being
women
the
in the world who would love to have children who cannot. There are same-sex couples that would love to have children and cannot afford to. There are people who have children who are sick and going through unspeakable pain. And it's like you are pregnant, you have your husband, you're not a single parent, you have the help and support. In my opinion, she's acted ungrateful just a little bit just for her blessings in general. She also has success in her own. I feel like she's trying to compete and almost keep up with what her husband has going on with the gym and school and all of these things. And then she does struggle with being a PK, so she's probably trying to not to lose her identity, but to act so like impacted negatively about a pregnancy. Like one day the child that she's pregnant with gonna have to see that. And that could be difficult too.
I mean, I know a situation like this too. If it's a women, I do. I feel like they may not believe in birth control, but my friend that's in this situation, the same situation, she got her tubes tied after the third baby and didn't tell her husband. So he still does not know to this day that that's what happened. So they keep trying, and she's taking this to the grave with her. She says she's not telling him a thing, and the only reason why she told me is because she had to tell somebody, and I'm somebody who really does not tell my friends secret, and y'all don't know them, so it's kind of like they don't watch this, so they're never gonna know I told the beans. But well, here's the thing: he wants 7 kids. And he didn't say that before they got married. He said 1 or 2, but now he's saying he want a whole football team. So she is deceitful, but at the same time, so was he because that's not what they agreed to. So when men change their minds like that, then honestly, anything that you do beyond that, it's fair game at this point. So I'm not either. So that's why I'm like, look, do what you gotta do. But Kobe's reaction to this, y'all, I felt for her because I understand like you really just want, boy, girl, be done. And now she knows that he's going to want another child. She can't deny him for sex. She can't do any of that. And then he's talking about he wants to try again in 6 months after this baby is born. And I'm
That
like,
was
"What?"
ridiculous.
I'm like, wait a minute.
He is out of his ever-loving mind. I can't understand why you would want to put a woman's body through that so soon. What I will say, why are you trying to avoid sleeping with your husband? Why are you having so little sex that you could track when the child was conceived? Like, what is going on in that marriage? She really needs to get to a counselor and address some things because, in my opinion, she's not happy with him.
Yeah, and I
But
don't
we
think she's
know
happy
her
with him either.
parents from season one, they adore him. So it's
That's
probably
because that's because she, you know what it is? She attracted her daddy into that man. That's what it is. So the dad sees himself in Russell. And I don't think her dad has any boys. I don't think that she has a brother. So I think that that's also of like you married my daughter and you remind me so much of myself and then you have my same value. So yes, this is going to work. And what's crazy is Kobe she said it herself on season 1. She tried to break away from her PK upbringing, and lo and behold, and that's what you get. Sometimes you don't know what you're running from, and you end up running right into it. The very thing you were running from. So I don't think she's happy. And when she said girls are a lot, you don't have to worry about the same things I have to worry about. So what that tells me is that as present as a father that he is, there is probably a lot he's not present for, and that's the day to day, getting the girls ready, making sure that they have their clothes washed, making sure that they did get their
Oh,
hair done.
yeah, you could tell because he makes it very clear, "I'm out grinding for us to have money," but she's on social media, so she could really do brand deals and things from the show, from home and make a pretty penny, so he doesn't really have to go as hard as he's going. There's a lot of issues in that relationship, and there's different forms and beliefs within Christianity, and it seems like they're more along the conservative, line, which she's
Mhm.
expressed she
I don't
does
know. This
not
is
like,
Old
but
Testament, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar kind of shit. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is exactly what that is because there's no way. Like, if I am telling you Look, this is the last baby. I am done. That's all that needs to be discussed here. We not finna try for no more. We not finna do anything because I feel like honestly in my spirit, I feel like if she does get pregnant with the third baby, it's gonna be another girl. I think he only can produce girls. I do. So I'm just kind of like, and that's another thing. Like, why would you want to have another baby 6 months after she has this baby? Like you're not giving her no room to heal. You're not giving her organs no room to be placed back to where they were. You just want her just to flop back in. And I have a coworker whose husband did the exact same thing. You know that waiting period where you're supposed to wait. He didn't wait. He didn't want to wait at all. And he said, I'm not going. We're not going to get pregnant. Sure enough, she got pregnant, and her babies are 10 months apart in age. So literally, she got pregnant the very first try. That's what she told me. And I was like, damn. I said, he didn't wait no time. And I was like, well, at least, if you have two boys, because she's about to deliver soon. So if she has two boys, at least you can get their hand me downs. You can just have one outfit. You can fit this. Come on. But yeah, like yeah, literally got pregnant the first month. And I was like, damn. So I can't imagine having then three kids under 5 and all be girls. Oh, I would go crazy in that house. And he could leave. And that's what she was saying. You could leave at your convenience at any time. Like it doesn't even have to, I can't do the same thing. And I said, girl, that's where you a fool. That's when, and see, that's where women need to start turning tables on men. Um, I'm going to the store. I'll be gone for a couple. Here, take your baby. Here, this baby, and here you go. Have fun. Don't break nothing while I'm gone. I'll be right back. Don't call me either. You know what you're doing, right? You know how to change the diaper. You know how to make a bottle. Don't call me. I got to get this done. I'm telling you, y'all. So, I mean, yes, it is easier to get pregnant when you just had a baby. Mine are too supporting to set up. Oof. Could you imagine if Christina got pregnant with twins this next time? I think she literally would have a mental breakdown if she did. Ooh, y'all. We gonna pray for Christina because ooh, 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 ooh. I feel for her. But yeah, my girl, the girl I work with, yeah, she about to drop her next baby. She just had one January of this year, finna have another one December, not no November. Her baby will be born in November of this year. We literally was in training together, and now she literally is pregnant again, finna have another baby. I said, girl, that man didn't want to wait at all. He was like, no, look, that's too long. I was like, Lord Jesus, men don't understand anatomy. That's why anatomy should be definitely driven in high school or middle school. Men need to understand something here. It does not work the way y'all want it to work. Yeah, well, I ain't. She said, "This it after this." She said, "You can kiss my ass. This is it after this. I ain't gonna do this no more." She said she was tired of being pregnant the first time, and now the second time, she just like, "Hey, I'm done." So Christina, I'm telling you, just tell the doctor, look, tie these tubes up. When he got to go to work at some point, tell the doctor tie these tubes up because I'm not having no more kids. And then just don't say nothing. Just don't say nothing. Let that be a secret between you and God. Just don't say nothing. I'm not trying to tell her how to run her family, her business, but I would do it and just not say nothing. I could take a secret to the grave. He ain't got to know nothing else. And when he say, "Hey, what's going on? Like, why we not getting pregnant?" Be like, I don't know. Maybe God is just trying to tell us this is it. And don't let him go to no doctor's appointments with you or nothing. Just do that, Colby. Don't let him don't let him know. Just do it and don't tell him. Just take that secret to the grave with you. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we should start doing that, but it is hard to do when your husband is not a nurturer. What you talking about when I say she need to have him held all them babies at one time and her go to the store? I know a couple of men. They're rare. They're rare. My two of my girlfriends got extremely lucky with their husbands, where they literally have the kids all the time. Like when I go out with them, they go, my husband got the kids. Hell, he can have them. That's what one of my girls. She said, look, he can have them. And a lot of my friends have kids. Like I'm real, and that's how it was even when I was in my 20s. A lot of my friends was getting married. I was always the single one. I'm always the single one out of all my friends. It's always been like that for me. So a lot of them are starting to have kids now, and a couple of men are stepping up and doing things that I don't see regular men do. So I'm happy to see it, and I'm hoping Russell is one of those guys that step up to the plate and actually is that present father. So, but no, you good. You good. I got what you were saying. But that was pretty much the episode, y'all. My prayers go out to Kobe, but she worked my nerves on this episode. She stressed me out because, like, man, there's things you can do. Y'all let that religion control y'all too much. Y'all better just, hey, look, God understand. He forgives, repent, hell, pray, flush your toilet, and move on. Because I'm telling you, I'm not trying to look. Life is hard enough, and if you really ain't trying to have no next baby, then don't do it. Mrs. Best, how do you feel? Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, if she don't want to have a damn baby, then do what you got to do to not have a damn baby. It's very simple. And you got a husband. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I don't think she happy in this marriage if she continue to do what the hell she do. I ain't got time for that. I told my husband, listen, nigga, if you knock me up, be prepared to do the work. I'm not gonna be the only one up. I don't give a damn. So,
Okay,
every
you y'all the best. Leave that baby around. Like,
person,
no, but like, wake your ass. Don't you hear that baby crying? Like, you better wake your
oh,
ass up.
I'll
Okay.
sleep right through that shit. Let him do it. No, but for real, I don't think that girl happy in her relationship. I think babies are blessed. She's pregnant. She's got a circumstance that's easier than a lot of women, and she's still finding ways to complain. So clearly, you're not happy in your relationship. Do something about it, please, because I'm
Yeah.
tired of watching it.
And please don't, and Kobe, please don't get pregnant again if this really ain't what you want. Like, please, because that transfer of energy down to that baby, that is not good. I promise you, that baby's
Take
going
you a
to die.
drive to CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, and bring your ID with you and ask for a plan B. It's gonna be anywhere from $24 to $54. Get you
Okay,
that,
get
swallow
you.
it up, and throw that shit out the window on the road the way Lorena Bobbitt did the you know what. And
Okay,
and you'll
or
be
go
all
to
right.
or go get you a business contract with on one of these, medical services and get you some in bulk, just in case. Hell, I don't know if
See,
you really can.
they ain't got
I
to
don't know
know
if you can really do
everything.
all that. I don't know if you really can do it like that, but hell, get you some of that. If you don't want to be on no birth control and you ain't trying to get your tubes tied, hell, go get you some Plan Bs in bulk. And hell, if they come into a bottle, get you a bottle of them things. Just every time you have sex, take one.
Right.
And again, just tell me I had a headache.
Put
And
them
that's
in your little like multivitamin pack or
right,
something.
exactly.
Like, listen, put them in the one a day bottle.
Okay, for
Nothing
real.
else.
Because he ain't gonna take them. So yeah, exactly. Just yes, go ahead. Oh, that was funny. But that was Love and Marriage Detroit, y'all. We trying to make it fun. This show is not going well at all. And I'm trying, y'all. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing better than I did last year. I'm telling you, because last year I was about ready to throw this towel
He
in the
was
first
fed
episode.
up. He was fed
I
up.
I was, but there we'll see how it goes. The shout out to the person who cracked up when I said Dr. Minnie Mouse. Oh, I'm talking about Latoya. That's what she reminded me of last. She was just so passive, and I'm just like, man, this man doing 150 much. Like, come on, step up. Stop being so silent. And she's still doing that shit. It's annoying. But that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna try. The next review on my channel will be Real Housewives of Dubai Reunion Part 2, and then on Thursday we are going to premiere Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 5. I'm picking it up because Mary is back, so I'm picking it up. If Mary wasn't on the show, I was not going to deal with Heather and all this bullshit she do. So yes. So we'll see you guys on my channel. We'll be on Mrs. Best channel on Tuesday for Basketball Wives, and we'll see you guys. Shout out to my girl Naya saying the thug cuz. Yes, that's our cousin. I'm so glad to see you. I've missed you. Thank you so much, Abise Winnet, for cheering us on with the great review. We appreciate you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.